Welcome to Santa Pod Raceway near Northampton for a close-up look at the extreme world of nitro fuel funny car. It's early in the season and we're at the absolutely huge Festival of Power with the promise of wall-to-wall sunshine and very warm temperatures. It's a family-friendly event with lots going on both on and off track, and it's the first time this year that the unbelievably quick nitro-methane fuel funny cars will be taking to the track. Lots of anticipation and 4 drivers and teams guaranteed to put on a show.
Hi, I'm Steve Ashdown. I drive the nitro funny car, the Undertaker. Looking forward to 2019 season.
Hi, my name's Jason Phelps and I drive the Gladiator fuel funny car.
My name's Kevin Chapman and I race the Thermareg fuel funny car.
Hi, I'm Kevin Kent, the driver of the West End Nitro funny car.
Yeah, basically, end of last. I say the season was going well. End of last season, just finished the run, went to pull the chutes, had a small pop, and then a fire, which pretty much burnt everything. So to get the car back here, we had to literally replace everything, from the wiring to the airlines to the mag drives. Everything was replaced. Just the lot. Everything went. So yeah, it pretty much destroyed most things.
Lots of work in the off-season, all preparing for this moment. Day 1 of 3 and the first qualifying session of the European Funny Car Series, which is making a much anticipated return for 2019. A healthy mix of excitement and nerves before the first run.
It is. I mean, if anyone sees me before any race, but especially the first one of the year, I'm an absolute mess. I don't mind admitting it. I'm so nervous. But you've got to respect these things because they will come around and bite you. The dragsters are one thing. I mean, I love a dragster. I enjoyed it. I learned to drive. Runa done me a great thing to get the speed up and things like this. These are a completely different animal. They are very hard to drive because obviously you've got the same horsepower, but in front of you, shorter wheelbase. They're all over the place. But I prefer these. These are my thing, sort of thing, you know.
Terrifying. That's how I'd say. It's really terrifying. The speed, and obviously I drove the drags. I had 9 runs in a dragster, top fuel. They tend to go quite straight, where a funny car wants to go around corners. That's the issue. So it's quite a busy drive when you're driving it.
It's basically, I mean, I'll come from a stock car background. For me, this is a stock car. It's just a very, as you call it, a stock car on steroids. So yeah, you can sort of half get away with it, to a degree. I mean, if it goes too far, I mean, you just sort of, as you say, on for a ride. But yeah, you can. You can. Believe it or not, you can.
Time to get helmets and hands devices on. With 10,000 horsepower and speeds approaching 300 miles per hour by the end of the 1,000-foot run, safety is paramount.
Everything will go really well by the end of the year. We've got lots of new bits coming, but the car's gradually getting better and better. It's just finding the right tune-up, really.
So what's your background in drag racing?
I don't have one.
So did you step into this car basically from scratch then?
I did license some runs in a top fuel dragster, and that was my first go up the drag strip. And after I'd done that, then I jumped into the funny car.
You're obviously enjoying it because you keep coming back for more.
Yeah, I'm loving it. And I mean, we'd like to leave this meeting, winning the meeting. That's our aim. And I think we can do it.
We've got 4 decent competitive cars now, haven't we? So in a way it could be anyone's for any event.
And I think we'll win.
We're just racing the car at each race we go to. If you win those races, then naturally you'll win a championship. But I'm so happy to be. I've been out for 2 years and I'm very, very happy to be back.
Thermareg is my wife's company. Well, I work with her, but that's predominantly her business. And luckily enough, she sponsors me to drive the car. We make thermostatic valves, which are distributed worldwide. So it's quite a unique product in a way. And also we have Haas on board as well this year. Formula One, and they make CNC machines, which we have in our factory. So the tie-up is quite good. And they're going to sponsor us next year as well.
So this is the bit the fans don't usually see. The cars are towed round to the start line with the drivers already strapped in. The starter motors are hooked on and the engine's turned over for a second to build oil pressure.
You ready?
Then when both teams are ready, the marshal will give the signal to fire up. The cars fire up on methanol, then switch over to nitro just before the run. That's neat fuel being squirted into the injector air intake to keep things moving. Final checks to make sure everything is set and no leaks or problems anywhere, and then down comes the body. The crew push the car into the burnout area to save the clutch. With modern tracks and tyre formulations, the aim of the burnout is just to haze the tyres. Unlike days gone by, you don't need billowing clouds of smoke. Rear visibility is zero in the car, so the crew out front and behind are essential in keeping the car in its warm, sticky tracks. Chief starter Ian Marshall's in communication with race control and the top-end safety crew at all times. Santa Pod CEO Keith Bartlett looking on there. He never misses a top fuel dragster or funny car run on track and has put a huge amount of time and money into upgrading the racing surface to a world standard concrete one. The bodies come up so the crew can remove the throttle stops that were used for the burnout, which stopped the engines from over-revving. First run of the event, so the teams will be just looking to launch and maybe get to half track to check things over. Don't expect record times just yet. Final checks and tweaks, and it's time to go. Into stage. Strong launch, but the chute deploys at half track. Looks like he hits tyre shake, but it looks like the track is good and up to holding the power that these cars throw at it. Even with early shut-off, Kevin Chapman gets a 5:38, so he is safely qualified. So it's a side-by-side pair next up. Kevin Kent in the West 10 car, and already fired up is Steve Ashdown with the Undertaker. Fantastic weather this year at Easter, and a lot of people out on the bank for this Good Friday qualifying session. Up pops the roof hatch on Kevin's car to let out the smoke. So again, don't expect full passes yet. It can take these cars several goes down the track before they find clutch settings that match the 10,000 horsepower to the current surface conditions. Oh, a big move for Kevin Kent in the auto glim lane. The car going anywhere but straight at very high speed. The crew on the start line look nonplussed. And a very good driving job from Kevin. In the slow-mo, it looks like a bit of a bang there. Did that cause the car to get unsettled?
Yeah, it's always nice to get the first run out. Don't really like going sideways at half track, but yeah, it was entertaining, all right.
The car looked like it was getting down the track though, didn't it?
It was getting down there, it shook just coming up to half track, and then it got out of the groove, and yeah, that's when we had to really start correcting the steering.
I know the car was looking like it was starting to go somewhere decent last year, but obviously everyone always upgrades things over the winter, so are you starting from scratch or are you starting off in a good place?
No, we pretty much carried on from last year where we were. We've updated obviously with motor and a few new other parts and that, but pretty much keeping it standard, same as last year.
You're obviously not new to Nitro now, so you've been doing it a few years. Has it still got that same excitement? What's it like when you get in that car for the first time at the start of the season?
First, well, when the guys were strapping me in today, it was just like we'd never been out of it again. And then And then obviously without getting that first run under your belt on the first one, it's always nice just to get the first run out of the way at the start of the year.
We've obviously got 4 cars, so hopefully we're going to get some decent competition through the year. What are you looking at time-wise? I guess you only want to go as fast as you have to, but ultimately, what's in this car on this track?
Well, I reckon once we make a few other little updates, I reckon we should easily be in the low 420s. That's where we'll be aiming for. I mean, we've run 420s before, but we'd like to get it in the teens at least.
Next qualifying session, and it's Jason Phelps with the Gladiator alongside Kevin Chapman. The Gladiator name has been around in funny car racing for many years, and the paintwork on this one is an absolutely perfect tribute to those earlier cars. That's long-time funny car racer John Spufford running back with the Thermo Reg car. And that's the very well-known John Bodie Smith in the all-black outfit, over from America this weekend helping out both the Kevins. So will they have a handle on the track yet? Problems at the hip for Kevin, and maybe a planned 300-foot blast from Jason this time out. Saturday morning now, and qualifying session number 3. Time to put on the fire suits and multi-layer fireproof boots and gloves. With explosive nitromethane fuel and an engine mounted in front of the driver, things can go very wrong very quickly in these claustrophobic machines. They climb into the hot seat, which is in itself quite an obstacle course, and wait for the crew to strap you in. So Steve Ashdown in the Undertaker fires up in the right-hand autoglim lane. That's Dave Bryant directing traffic out front. And Kevin Kent in the left-hand energy check lane. Kevin was way out of shape in the last run, but that car certainly hooked up well until half-track, so he'll be looking for a full pull on this one. Up come the bodies for final checks and so on. And all the time the track safety crew are looking intently at every part of the car. The slightest oil or fuel leak could turn into a torrent under full power with catastrophic consequences. Both cars off the power before half-track. As soon as tyre shake appears or traction is lost, they cut the power, then use what they've learnt to change their setups for the next run. Qualifying and tuning is all about getting the settings that will get that power onto the track without spinning the tyres. It's not about tuning engines for more power. Problems there for Jason Phelps in the Gladiator car. Kevin Chapman on a solo, dead straight but off the power early, and that means just one more run is available to hit on a setup that'll work. And this time out, Kevin's on the power to 700 feet. That nets him a 4:71 elapsed time. Good for number 1 spot at the moment, with Kevin Kent at number 2 with a 5:22.
We've had some issues. We're seeing false readings, so the car's got a safety system on it, so it's shutting itself off. We've just found out what that is now, so yeah, we're into race day tomorrow, and hopefully we go round.
Obviously, a lot of new parts on there and on all the cars for the start of the season, so I guess you expect a few little teething problems?
No, I mean, we finished off last year running really consistently, not hurting a lot of parts, so we wanted to come in start again as we did last year, but basically it's one O-ring that's caused us a problem.
Gladiator out next, the car owned by Mark and Jackie Hawkins.
I come originally to the track when I was 15 and I'm 60 this year. And I started out on funny cars about 40 years ago on the Hound Dog car and various other cars along with Brett, my brother-in-law. And then in 98 we built my own car, the North Hearts Engineering car. Then we had a few years out from 2004 on. Then the opportunity arose to do it again and we said let's go for it. So we had a brand new car built in the States by a guy called Ty Baumgartner. Gary Page originally started to drive for me because I've known Gary a long while. And then Jason come along last year, and Jason's going to be in the seat now permanent. So we've got all new guys together. These guys are fresh 2 years ago, never done bin drag racing before, and it's working really well. We're having lots of fun doing it, you know. It's great. I've known his dad Roy for a long while, but no, Jason is great in the car. He takes really good care of the car. You know, he just does a fantastic job, and he's a nice guy at boat. You know, he's good fun to have around, that's for sure. Jason wanted to continue with the Gladiator theme because obviously Roy and Bootsy had done it a long way. So we said, yeah, let's go for it, and the reaction has been fantastic, you know, and the car's come out really nice, you know, and I'm really pleased with it, you know, everybody seems to like it, and we will continue with the Gladiator theme.
And a storming run by Jason, the front wheels well into the air on this one, good job he backed off. He could easily have become airborne, and that 5.09 moves Kevin Kent to number 2 spot.
It was ridiculous. He pointed at the sky, couldn't see anything. It was just madness. But we'll be back tomorrow.
You were in control.
Oh, cool. I'm always in control. Totally.
So back in the pits, and both Kevins are being helped by John Bodie Smith this weekend.
Yeah, I can't get any better, you know. I've been here the last few years. Last year I was here and it rained and it was cold, freezing, and I brought my gear this year, but now I'm in short sleeves, and it's been good. You know, it's good for the fans. They come out Easter weekend. You know, well with Kevin Ken and Kevin Chapman, the crew chief, meaning I watch over both crews, make sure everything gets put together right. Most of the parts that are on these cars have been purchased through my company, John Smith Racing and Hartman Motorsports, and Hartman Smith Motorsports. So it's kind of a big family we have at home, and everybody helps me there to get everything done here. So a lot of traveling and a lot of part getting, make sure everybody has what they need. I make sure the cars are set up exactly the way they need to be competitive and to run the best times they can every run. Well, we can go up and can change the ignition timing. We can take a little timing in. We can put, like if the air gets a little worse, say if it goes from 1,000 foot density altitude to 1,500 foot, we can put some ignition timing in it, take some fuel away, and we can also change tire pressures for the track conditions. If the track gets hotter, we want to give it a little more tire pressure so the tire will actually stick to the track a little better if it's a little hotter. If it's colder out, we take tire pressure out. So there's a lot of variables we can change. Tuning aspects for me. Guys keep me abreast of what's happening with the track. You have to try to make sure that clutch absorbs all that horsepower that we make, and then if we miss the tune-up a little bit and it's down on horsepower, say like today we dropped a cylinder because the air got a little worse and was trying to make it down a little bit warmer racetrack, so we dropped a cylinder, and you know, you got to make sure that everything's in the proper place every time, and if you miss it just by a little bit, you can lose up to 1,000 horsepower per cylinder.
So on to Eliminations Day here at Santa Pod's Festival of Power. Still the same fantastic weather, but we've heard that Steve Ashdown has had to pull out as they're struggling to overcome mechanical issues with new parts that didn't fit correctly. Kevin Kent getting strapped into the car. The belts are pulled so tight that it's almost impossible to breathe, and wrist straps will stop his arms moving. You can see why they get nervous before a run. So race 1 sees Kevin Chapman in the Thermo Reg and Haas-backed Mustang on a solo with the non-appearance of the Undertaker car. He has big ambitions here this weekend. And off the power early for an easy sounding 475, but nowhere near the 4.2s that the teams are really looking to run. Kevin Kent in the West 10 Motorsport Mustang taking on Jason Phelps with the Gladiator. Neither car has run into the 4s yet this weekend, though Jason might have done had it not been for that wheelie. So let's see if they've got a handle on the track racing over the 1,000 foot, remember, not the full quarter mile. Into stage. Problems for Jason, but Kevin's on a flyer. Yes, that's it, a 4:24 at 284 miles per hour, the quickest ever run in European Fuel Funny Car. The team celebrates, and that sets the bar very high for Kevin Chapman to beat in the upcoming final. So time to tear the engines apart and check clutch, pistons, bores, bearings, and replace where needed.
Aiming for teens by the end of the year, you're almost there straight away. That was absolutely stunning, wasn't it?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we've been working on trying to get the car in. We've been running 420s. We want to get it into the teens. So yeah, John said, hold on, it's going to go. So yeah, and he went wrong.
Can you feel the difference all the way down the track when it's a good one?
Yeah, I mean, that was immense. This car, when it's on one, it just wants to keep pulling and pulling and pulling. It's hard to get off the pedal, you know, off the throttle, because it's good fun.
Moving toward the final, and two teams already packed away and cars loaded into the trailers, but not so for the two Kevins. Both have run good 4-second passes, and with the day still warm, both will be hoping for improvements. Kevin Kent in the right lane, Kevin Chapman in the left. You'd have to say that Kevin Kent has the advantage after that 4:22 record-setting pass, but the Thermo Red car has been good to three-quarter track, and if they can keep it hooked up, this could be very close. Both cars running similar equipment, and with John Bodie Smith tuning both, you wouldn't want to put money on the outcome. Into stage for the final time of the weekend. The Thermo Red car's visibly away first. Can Kevin Kent catch him? No, he can't. Just inches in it at the 1,000 foot finish line. But Kevin Chapman takes the win with a personal best 4:45, beating a quicker 4:23 in the right lane.
Fantastic win. Great for me, great for the team. We've been under a lot of pressure on the previous runs with niggly bits not working well, but it all came together on that run and it was fantastic. So that's my personal best and the quickest speed. And we won the event.
What more can you ask for? And it puts you in good stead for the rest of the season, doesn't it?
Yep, well, it gives a good sort of foundation to build on, and off we go again. Be fantastic. The competitors in this class are pretty amazing, really. And I only just won that race, so it was very close at the end. So that's a good win.
Exciting stuff this weekend from the Fuel Funny cars, and they'll be back for the next round of the series at the FIA main event at the end of May, back here at Santa Pod Raceway. We'll see you then.